Now that you know a little bit about Liquid and what really goes into creating a Shopify template and sections and using schema, we're going to dive into a little bit of a more advanced topic, and that's called liquid objects. So liquid objects are basically objects that are created by Shopify for you to use in any template. So what that means is you are able to access something like the product title from the product page, for example. So when you're located on the product template, so let's go over here. Let's go to the templates and we're going to find the product template. So in the product template, most of the code is actually going to be in a section called the product template. And this is just some boilerplate code that the theme included with it. But most of the code is going to be here. So basically in our product section, we have the product template and the product recommendations. And we can actually see this if we go into our store. Actually, let's do this. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Okay, so if we go into our store and we just want to view the store and we click on a product, we don't have any recommendations here, but this thing at the top here is the product template. And let's go into the section now, the product template section. So we can see that they included the product section template over here just by using the liquid include tags and saying section. So this would be the same thing for snippets, right? But let's go into this section over here. Product template. And this is a lot of things, but basically this is a more difficult way into kind of sizing and making sure that it's going to be responsive. This is what they're doing here. But what I wanted to really show you is a place where they use the product template. Let's see if we can find that here. Click product. Let's just search for it. No, not that. And a big majority of the time when starting to work with a new theme, it takes time to kind of understand how the theme is structured. Very, very rarely you're going to be working with a debut theme, just because it's the most basic one and it doesn't have a lot of features. So, okay, here we go. So for the product title over here, you can see that they included product.title, right? So let's, and we can see, so the product single title, that's what it's called. If we go back over here and we go into inspector, and we see that the class name is product single title, right? Let's try something else. Let's go into our theme. Let's go into the products. And if we find that product over here, the blue ocean shirt, let's give it a tag, because a tag is something that you're going to be using a lot, right? So we have a tag called men here. So if we go back into the code and let's do this, let's do H1, same class, just so we can mimic the styling for it, but let's do product.tags, right? So if we go over here and we go into the product template or the product object, we're gonna see all the options we can choose here, right? So we have the product available. So this returns a Boolean, a true or false, which basically tells us if the product is available. Very simple. We have the product image. We can pull up the product image, which basically gives us the URL for the image. But we want to play around with tags. So since we have one tag, let's see if this works, right? If we just decide to do product.tags, we save that. For some reason, it's not saving. What is the error? Sometimes it just needs a refresh. I don't know if it's anything that I did wrong. Okay, let's paste that over here again and save it. Yeah, there we go. So sometimes the Shopify code editor bugs out, and it just needs a little refresh, and usually it starts working again. And there we go, right? So it's very easy to use, and these objects are, you can only use them. You cannot like assign a new value to these objects from the Shopify with Shopify Liquid, right? You can only use these. So, and by default, the template knows exactly which product you're referring to based on which product the user is on. So this will appear for every product in your store, but only for the product template. So you can create multiple product templates, which basically will allow you to have different templates for different products in your store, right? So this is the product template. The product object is one of the most popular ones that you're going to use. That's why I wanted to show it. The other one is going to be the line item. So the line item is what Shopify refers to as a single line in the shopping cart. So each product variant inside of the cart that is added is actually a line item. So if we go into our store again and our product page, and we click, oh, actually not buy now. Let's do add to cart instead. If we go to add to cart and we view the cart, so this is a line item. But in order to access those line items, we're going to have to use the cart template. And the cart template is the same thing. We go into the templates, we go to the cart, and it's going to tell us that actually most of the code is in the cart template. So we can close this. We can go into the sections, and we go into the cart template. So most of the time, in order to do something to each item in the cart, or as we call it, the line item, we will have to loop through the cart items. So this basically is saying that for each item inside of cart items, we're going to be doing this. So, and remember, so we're calling each item inside of the cart items, we're calling it item, but we can call this whatever we want. So this actually is a little bit tricky. That's why I really wanted to kind of go over this with you, is because the cart items, it actually refers to line item object, right? So it's a little confusing. You're not going to know that from the beginning unless you read this documentation. And we can see here, and if we go into the cart and we go into the cart items, it's going to say that it returns all of the line items in the cart. So in order to access the line item object inside of the cart, we actually need to loop through the cart items, which is actually the line item. So it's a little confusing, but basically each item over here is actually referring to line item. So we're kind of replacing it or renaming it here. So this is the line item image. And the line item image, as you know, returns the image of the line item inside of the cart. But once you actually wrap your head around this concept, it becomes very useful when you're working with something inside of the cart. And as you can see here, we're accessing the item.product.title. So the title of the product that is the line item, right? We have the image, and then we have the property. So another thing that line items can have is properties, which basically is just custom properties for that particular item. This is something that you're not going to particularly use a lot, but it's just something good to know about. And I believe this one doesn't even have any properties. But we can see the price also here, the item that original price. So if you want to, let's say, show kind of the sale price, we could also show the sale price. And that is basically the line item object that is very important, and I wanted to go over it. Then there's kind of less important liquid objects, which is like for loop. I mean, I wouldn't call them less important, but it's kind of a less complicated idea. So in the liquid language, they made it very useful for you to actually be able to kind of access certain parts of the loop. So whenever you're doing a for loop, so let's actually go over here. So let's do an example. We'll add another item to the cart. Add to the cart. Then once we go into the cart, we can go. Let's edit the cart template, right? So the for loop, and we can say inside of the for loop, we can give it like underneath the title. Let's give it if for loop dot first, right? So we have for loop dot first. So if it's the first item in the for loop, then let's do this. Okay, let's close our and if. Let's also display the item.product, and let's see what we can display here. So we know that the item is line item. So once we go into the line items, let's see what kind of stuff we can get from the product. So now we go full circle, right? So we go into the line items, and it tells us that it returns the product object. So we got to go into the product object now. And we have all of these again. So again, let's just try to display the tag again. Let's see that tags. All right. And remember, this is only going to be done for the first item in the cart right now. And there you go. The tag appeared right after. So Shopify kind of gives you these very, very easy to use objects, and it kind of makes it super easy for you to create more complex or more customizable templates and, something in the cart or the product section. And this is something that you're going to really love once you start working and creating with your Shopify store. What else is really popular? I mean, so variant is very similar to product. That's something that you're going to be using a lot as well. Template basically refers to the template that you're working on, and the template suffix is something that you're gonna really use a lot as well. So that is basically the name, right? The prefix or the liquid extension, or without the prefix or the liquid extension. And this can be used to basically say like, if the product is, or if the template that suffix is something along the lines of I don't know, the new item or something, then do this, right? So you're kind of giving it a very dynamic way to display something on your page. And this is a very important concept, and you're only going to really kind of understand it once you start working with it. But you can always refer to the documentation on Liquid, which is really good. You can find pretty much anything, and as I mentioned, the cheat sheet, the Shopify cheat sheet, is something that is something you can refer to very frequently as well. But it's good to know that these exist. Anyways, in the next video, we're going to be covering another advanced topic, and I'll see you there.